coronavirus task force at the White House for a time. I think the two things you were very forceful about was we shouldn't have lockdowns and we should have open schools. That was counter the prevailing narrative, certainly in Washington, and I know that they tried to rough you up for speaking those views, but you were very clear on that. Do you stand by your position then, and do you think the experience has borne you out?
Yes, I think it's clear for people who care about the data that the lockdowns, as we had talked about many times, were extraordinarily harmful. There's no question that people have, 40% of people didn't get chemotherapy, up to 78% of cancers didn't get diagnosed, people forego medical care for emergencies, all because of fear. And, we have a massive public health price to pay as we go forward. And then we look at the data, and the data is really clear that the states in the U.S., we have the comparison. We happen to have done the experiment because of Governor DeSantis here, and we can compare what happened. And when we look at that, the actual results, the facts of having an open state, which was Florida, versus these other states, we see when you look at things like excess mortality rate, which is the number of deaths over what you would have expected that year, and you take it during the pandemic, it turns out Florida beat 70% of the states. Okay, these other states did severe lockdowns. And when you look at Florida compared to California, I'd like to point out, California did 50% worse than Florida because of its severe lockdowns. And there are many statistics like this. The lockdowns were harmful. They were the opposite of what should have been done. We said it from the beginning, and there's a massive price to pay. It's not just that they failed to stop the infection. The lockdowns actually killed people, destroyed lives, destroyed families, and in the end, vis-a-vis the schools, our country, more than any other country, frankly, was willing to sacrifice its children out of fear. And this is really one of the historic, epic tragedies, really, of what happened during the pandemic management. It was advocated by many of my other task force members to do the lockdowns. They got what they wanted, and it's a failure.